everyone, thank you so much for being here today. My name is Denise. I'm also known as heywigsister on Instagram and Facebook. She's here. This is Raquel Welch Click Click Flash. Some of you guys have been asking me about this one and I have her to show you. This is in the color SS Iced Cafe Latte, which is RL9/24SS. I am doing this review in partnership with Name Brand Wigs. They did send me this one so I could show all of you. You guys, don't write this off right away, okay? Let's watch the video. Let me tell you my impressions. If you love super, super curly hair, I think with some work, this one could be a great one. It may not be for you out of the box, but don't write off a wig based on the out of the box. Let's look at the potential and we'll do that together. I would like to thank Name Brand Wigs for sending me Click Click Flash so that I could show all of you guys this piece. Reviews, especially with wigs like this, are so critical, and it's so nice to work with a wig retailer that sees the value in online reviews and puts their money where their mouth is and spends the money to make sure these wigs get into the hands of some of us reviewers so that we can show them to all of you. If you've never visited Name Brand Wigs, please go to their website, www.namebrandwigs.com. They're wonderful. They're an online retailer. They have a blog. They support a lot of reviews so that as a wig wearer, we can see these wigs on various people before we make a purchase. They also have a great customer service team and they can help you if you're struggling with color, with style. You can email them, you can call them, and they'll work with you. All right, everybody, let's take a look at this one from all sides. These curls are so bouncy. When I do this, they just like, I can feel like the whole thing flowing. So it definitely is a bouncy, super, super full, incredibly curly piece. I did do an out of the box with this one, and I will make sure that that is tacked on the end of this video so that you can see what this one looked like out of the box. All I really did with it is shake it out vigorously. I did this a lot with my fingers, trying to sort of wake up these curls, see kind of what they would do when I play with them. You can kind of see in the front here, there's a little bit of frizz. Not terrible, but I think if you were to comb through this one, you would create a big frizzy, kind of big frizzy hair. In the back here where I really didn't comb through, you can see the texture. Very full spiral curls, so you can wear this really curly like this, or if you're willing to take some time and play with it, I think if you took some water, maybe some product, your fingers, I probably wouldn't run through it with a wide tooth comb, but I think you can tame it slightly if you really want to work with it. I also think if you thinned it out a little bit, if you really love the curl, but you just can't see yourself in such fullness, if you thin it out a little bit, that also might get this into a place where it's a little bit more wearable for those of you who can't do really full, but you want super curly. The other thing I think this one will be really great for is styling. So I really think, because this has a lace front, which I'll talk about in a moment, I think if you take some bobby pins or some clips and you do some twisting and you just kind of strategically clip it in various places, you might be able to get it so it doesn't look as full. And that's something I have done in the past with other super full curly wigs to make them wearable for me. So I think this one with a little TLC might turn out really cute. That said, this is not going to be for everybody, so I want to really stress a few things. Number one, this is a pretty heavy wig. I think it weighs about 6.5 ounces, maybe just a little bit less than that. That's a lot of hair for something that's not terribly long. And then it's just, I mean, it's super, super full. Now, this does have permatease. When I reach in back here, I can feel the permatease in the back, and I can feel a little bit of permatease here on the sides. It is not super pillowy though. It's not like nesty, heavy, pillowy. It's just sort of a light coating all around to help give this some volume, some life, and to spring up those curls. So I really do think though that if you're someone who doesn't want permatease on a wig, then you're probably not looking at super curly wigs, because they tend to have permatease to really help that curl and that volume. Just so you know about the permatease. All right, so this also has a lace front, and I want to show you that lace front. Raquel Welch does a fantastic job with their lace fronts. They usually look very realistic, and on a highlighted piece like this, you can see they bring those highlights all the way up to the front of the wig, and that is very typical for Raquel Welch. It can give it a little bit of a banding effect, which it sort of does on this one. So just keep that in mind if your preference isn't for super heavy front highlights. That is kind of the way that Raquel Welch deals with dark knots on wigs that have some darker colors in them, is to bring those light highlights to the front. You've got that lace right there. So that's all you have on this one, is a kind of a bit of an extended lace. It's a little bit thicker right there. It goes all the way down to the ear tabs. This is where the permatease lives, but you can see it's open wefted, which means there's probably not a ton of pillowy permatease in there, and I don't really feel a ton of it, and kind of help with coolness. Because this wig is full, it has a decent heft to it, quite a bit of weight for its length, and a lot of hair. That will act as insulation. So having open wefting throughout most of it is going to help with the airflow and help it keep it just a little bit cooler. We've got ear tabs, velvet ear tabs with bendable stays, extended nape, Velcro adjusters, and then we've got open wefting throughout. And this shininess right here, Raquel Welch has a Memory 3 cap that has silicone on it. It really doesn't do much if you have bio hair. But if you have no hair, that silicone on the inside of the cap will kind of grip to your scalp and actually keep it really secure. You may not even have to wear a wig grip or anything with it because of that silicone. Now, this cap is fitting me somewhat big. If you noticed when I had it off, I had those adjusters cinched in a fair amount. Raquel Welch caps run really pretty true to average. I do find them to run a little generous in their circumference. I have a 22-inch very average circumference, and I do get extra room in these. I also tend to get some extra cap over the top. You can kind of see when I do this, and because I'm very petite over the top of my head, an average cap should do that on me, and these do. They also tend to have a lot of stretch, and this has a ton of stretch. So I really think that this is going to fit a variety of people, and I think that you know, for my wig sisters whose measurements run more average large and you struggle to find comfortable caps, this one is running what I would think just a little bit big. Definitely check it out if you're 22.5 circumference, or if your measurements are even a fair amount bigger than mine over the top of your head. And you can find all of my measurements down below in the description. I get really good coverage on Raquel Welch wigs typically. These ear tabs fall exactly where I like them for comfort and for coverage. And if you wanted to try to tuck this one and you have measurements similar to mine or smaller, then you shouldn't have any trouble tucking. What's going to give you a little bit of challenge is the volume and the curls. But as far as clearance goes, the way it fits me, glasses are no problem, tucking is no problem. But that will vary depending on your head size, so you really should compare your measurements. All right, so these are actually heat-friendly fibers. I had to double check that because of the amount of curl. They don't feel like your typical heat-friendly. You know, curly hair, human hair, tends to be drier, a little bit coarser and frizzier. That's just really typical. And curly wigs are similar. So this definitely doesn't feel quite as soft and smooth as their typical heat-friendly straighter pieces, but really it does keep in line with how curly hair feels. I really love heat-friendly fibers because they don't seem to be as shiny as regular synthetic. They do tend to look a little bit more like human hair than regular synthetic often. There's always outliers and exceptions, but care for heat-friendly wigs can be challenging because friction really is hard on those fibers, causes frizzing and fraying. This is a good length because it's not really going to rub up on your clothing a whole lot at all, depending on your neck, obviously your neck length. On me, it just barely grazes the top of my collar, but for the most part, it doesn't rub on my clothing. So that's a plus, because when you get a super curly wig like this that's heat-friendly, if you take heat to it, which you do need to do to heat-friendly wigs often, because the heat helps kind of seal up those fibers and keeps the frizzing and fraying at a minimum. It also can alter the style depending on how much heat you take to it, and you really probably don't want to straighten this piece. So I think because they chose to use heat-friendly fibers on this one, the fact that they kept it a bit shorter of a length is going to make this a lot more manageable. I wouldn't take a hot air brush or anything like that to this. If you needed to maintain these fibers with heat, I would use steam. I do have a video showing how to do that on a Raquel Welch wig, and so I'll link that in the description in case you've never really had a heat-friendly wig or you've never seen how to care for them. That's an option that you can consider to keep these fibers flowy and soft and from getting frayed. We're going to talk about color, but I want to give you my overall impression. It's awfully cute. If you like huge curly hair, if you had tons of tight curly hair, this might be something that will feel at home to you. For you guys, my wig sisters who didn't really have curly hair but you love curls, I'm one of them. I didn't grow up with curly hair, but I love curls. This one may take some getting used to. For me to wear this one comfortably on a kind of just a regular everyday basis, I really think styling will be my friend. I think putting clips in it, I mean, just think about it. If you clip it just a little bit here in the back, leave a little bit of the curls down, it's really going to tamp down that poof. Another thing, let me grab it for you guys. Another thing that helps a lot with curly wigs is our headbands. I show this like on all of my curly and short wig videos because my goal is to help you, have fun with wigs, but have solutions for when certain wigs are challenging to you. So putting a headband in, maybe taking some bobby pins, kind of clipping this down a little bit. You can tamp down with clips some of this stuff. That's also going to help with the volume. So, if you really desperately want to try a wig like this, the price point is actually really pretty good, under $100, or not under $200 with a coupon, under $180 I think with a coupon. So if you do decide you want to try something but you're really scared, just know there's so many things you can do with styling that will help you with it. All right, let's talk about color. SS Iced Cafe Latte. I absolutely love this color by Raquel Welch. It is a gorgeous, very dynamic, neutral to ashy color. What we have here, I'll take it off. First of all, SS in the Raquel Welch line means shadow shades. Basically, that means it's rooted, but it's a shaded root, a shadow root, not a super pronounced root. And you will see that on this one right here. You can see it's a little bit darker in at the root, but it's very subtle. It's not a super dark contrast to the rest of the hair. That's one of the things I really like about these shadow shades wigs. The rest of this color is what I would consider neutral to ashy. We have got a really pretty golden blonde highlight throughout, but the brunette they use is what I would consider a light ash brown. So we've got like a light ash brown base, which is kind of the 9 in the color code. And then we've got a golden blonde highlight throughout. Some of them look a little lighter than others. You can see every now and then you get a pop, like a little thicker chunk, but it's not stripy. The only place that anybody might consider this a bit stripy is at the front, right there. Almost like they did money pieces in the front, if you're familiar with those on human hair wigs. So I would consider this a light ash brown with golden blonde highlights. That warms it up a bit, keeps it from looking gray. I don't think this looks gray. I think if they would have used an ashy or blonde for highlighting, this would wind up looking kind of drab, a little bit gray in some lighting, and that's not the effect on this one at all. So if you're a brunette who likes lighter browns, you're not looking for a dark chocolate brown, but you kind of want to dabble in the blondes, this is a good transition color from brunette to blonde because of the contrast and because of these blonde highlights. All right, everybody, let's get outside so that you can see this color outside. Thank you once again, Name Brand Wigs, for sending, fibers in my eyes, sending this piece to me so I could show all of my wig sisters. I appreciate you guys so much, and I appreciate you guys for watching my video, and I will talk to you soon. Hey everyone, we're outside. It's a bit windy, but Here's a shot at this color in sunlight. You can also see how it moves in the wind and sticks to my lip gloss. Sorry about the camera angles. I can't see between the hair and the sun, so hopefully I'm in it good enough for you. This is one of my favorite Raquel Welch colors. It's so dynamic, not too warm, not too cool. All right, everybody. Maybe the moral of the story is if you want to wear this one outside on a windy day, clip it up. Have a good day. All right, everyone, this is what she looked like out of the box. So I did my unboxing and then I went straight to the bathroom and filmed this. So I did nothing to her. And what I want you to see is what I talked about earlier in the video, how I shook her out, how I kind of finger styled her. I tried to separate the curls and see what would happen. If you get a super curly wig like this and you start to play with it, I would first use your fingers. If you find that it's turning frizzy, you can just take some water in a water bottle and spray it down and scrunch it back up. That usually will work as long as you haven't gone too overboard combing it out. Sometimes there is no going back, but in the case of this, if I didn't like how some of the curls were frizzing up, I would have just sprayed them with water. But I wanted you to see exactly what I did to her before I reviewed her. This is it. You see what I did, and then I reviewed her.